Hi, I'm Ethan. I love muzzleloading, and this is a finely engraved Whitworth percussion match rifle. Well, the Whitworth rifle is commonly, at least here in the United States, attributed to Confederate sharpshooters. This model is more oriented for target shooting. The blued round barrel is marked Whitworth Patent on top, referring to Joseph Whitworth's famous patented hexagonal rifling, and is fitted with an adjustable hooded blade front sight and a target ladder rear sight. The barrel is absent of proof marks, but the lock is equipped with a safety catch and is inscribed with Whitworth Rifle Company, Manchester, and with a crowned W trademark. Serial number C778 is inscribed on the trigger guard. The stock is figured walnut with a straight hand 3/4 length stock with checkered grip and forend. Whitworth rifles were highly regarded and were extremely accurate, especially when compared to the standard 5.77 Enfield rifle. Starting at the rear and moving forward here, we have beautiful engraving all throughout the metal hardware on this Whitworth target rifle. Up here at the top of our butt plate, we have some beautiful scroll engraving. As we come forward here, we have our simplistic rear stock here. Not simplistic in a derogatory term, but just in shape and styling. Very consistent with other English arms that we see for the period. As we come forward, we have checkering on our wrist in these rectangular ribbons that stretch from underneath on the toe of the stock up to the crest and the wrist area here. Our trigger guard itself is very finely decorated. Here past the rear tail of our trigger guard, we have a sling swivel stud or a sling stud here. Our trigger guard goes from just before the front of our lock plate back here to a few inches from this sling stud and is finely engraved throughout. At the tail, we have a screw here, and then at the fore end, we have a screw here holding the guard to the stock. And then in this first swoop, as we step back from the bow on our guard, we do have the serial number C778. The front end of this guard terminates around the screw in a fine circle, and then we have something similar of the pineapple motif seen on a lot of fine English arms, but it's not exactly a pineapple. We spent a lot of time talking about this guard, but it is so ornately done, much more than the other, I would say, more common Whitworth rifles that we see. There isn't as much engraving, and that leads me to believe, and along with other attributes of this piece, I think it aligns well with being a for the time at least, a valuable target style rifle with these different outfittings and trappings. The lock plate itself, our barrel tang, and the bolster of our barrel are finely engraved as well all throughout. We have a beautifully done checkering here at the tail of our hammer, and then we have our fish or serpent or sea monster motif here in the hammer like we typically see on high-end percussion arms. We have a safety catch forward of our hammer here. This safety catch engages when at half or full cock to add another level of safety when carrying the arm primed and loaded. Our barrel tang is short and consistent with other Whitworth rifles that we see. We have on the bolster just forward of our tang a stag laying down in some grass here. Something that I've not seen personally on other Whitworths that I have examined. I think really that's another marker here for target or high level quality with this particular piece. I'm not a Whitworth expert though, so I could be off in the weeds here a little bit. Stepping back with our tang, we have an emanating almost seashell type motif here, transitioning some beautiful scrolls and then a sunflower or other floral pattern going around our engraved screw head here back into the tang. Forward of our bolster and a couple inches into our barrel here, we have a bit of a ridge or wedge here to accommodate another sight system if we needed to, almost like you'd see today on some scope rings, some kind of a rail, I should say, here. So we have that being considered and thought about. But forward of that, we don't have anything applied to that rail. We do have this ladder target sight here. This ladder target sight starts on the right-hand side at the bottom at a 1 and goes up to 12. On the left-hand side, we start at 0 and go up in 1 increment levels with every 10th increment marked off here. This ladder sight does fold up. We have an adjustment knob here on our right-hand side, allowing us to crank this sight down. On the back side here, you'll notice that we have a gear on our adjustment lever that twists as we turn it, and the ladder sight has a set of teeth for calculated movement and adjustment of this sight. The sight only lays flat when in the topmost position here, and the sight picture for our rear sight here is a simple cutout circle. This sight is really only set up, at least to my observation here, to function folded up and adjusted for yardage. There's not any upper or rearward facing rear sight on our ladder sight here for it to be shot accurately with the sight system folded down. On the forestock here on the underside, we do have checkering extending up to our first barrel band, as you can see here on the underside. We have 3 barrel bands. The first barrel band from the muzzle has a sling swivel to accommodate our sling stud at the buttstock. We have an iron nose cap here at the fore end. We have a metal ramrod here with some teeth. The muzzle does have hexagonal rifling. It is mic'd to a .451 caliber. The barrel itself is 35 1/4 inches long. At the front here, we have a globe sight with a pin post sight inside. We do have an adjustment screw here on our right hand or our lock side to adjust for windage with our front sight. Flipping around here to our side plate side, you'll notice that we have a mirror image on our forestock. We have our wrist checkering here behind our 3rd barrel band. And we have the lack of a side plate here consistent with other Whitworth rifles. Our lock bolt on this side at the center upper end of our lock plate mortise is engraved to match the rest of the engraving seen on this hardware. As we step back, you can see the other side of our wrist checkering here to help and assist with our target shooter's grip. And then we have a plain or empty buttstock here on this side, consistent with other military arms of the day, or I should say hopeful military arms from the day. We don't have any extra wood here for a cheek rest of any kind of ornamentation. If you're interested in Whitworths and their history, as well as the documentation to go along with them, I encourage you to check out the Whitworth Research Project online. They have been cataloging and documenting known Whitworth production, finished Whitworth rifles, as well as a variety of prototypes that still exist today. I'd like to thank the Rock Island Auction Company for giving me the opportunity to share this Whitworth target rifle with you here today. If you'd like to learn more and see more high-quality photos and videos about antique arms, I encourage you to visit the Rock Island Auction Company social media pages. Once again, I'm Ethan. I love muzzleloading. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you next time.